Erik ten Hag will be without 6 first-team players for Manchester United. United had hoped for some good news on the injury front, but aside from new signing Manuel Ugarte being available for selection, Ten Hag was unable to provide the exciting team news fans had hoped for. Both Luke Shaw and Rasmus Hojlund will miss the trip to the South Coast due to injury. With the pair yet to appear for the club in the 2024-25 campaign, Man United manager Erik ten Hag will once again be without some key players. The 6 key players are Leny Yoro, who is out with an ankle and foot injury until November 23, 2024. Leny Yoro's injury update is a bit more positive than initially thought. He underwent successful surgery on his foot injury and is now walking without crutches, which is a huge step forward in his recovery. Initially, there were fears that he'd be out for around 3 months, but it seems he's making good progress. Yoro suffered the injury during Manchester United's preseason friendly against Arsenal in Los Angeles, and it was a fractured metatarsal that required surgery. The 18-year-old defender was spotted at Old Trafford wearing a protective boot and crutches, but he's ditched those now and is working hard in the gym at Carrington to regain full fitness. While there's no confirmed return date, Yoro is targeting a full return to fitness by November, with United hopeful he'll be ready for their game against Arsenal at the start of December. Tyrell Malacia, who was sidelined with a knee injury until October 19, 2024. Tyrell Malacia's knee injury has been a long-term issue, keeping him out of action since May 2023. He underwent surgery but suffered a setback, requiring further surgery, which has delayed his return to the pitch. Fortunately, Erik ten Hag has shared some positive news, stating that Malacia is progressing really well and making big steps in his recovery. Although there's no confirmed return date, Ten Hag expects Malacia to join team training soon and potentially play games in the near future. It's worth noting that Malacia was included in Manchester United's 25-man squad for the Europa League, indicating that his return to action might be sooner rather than later. Initially, his expected return was in January 2024, but it seems he's making good progress. Mason Mount has a thigh injury, but he's resumed training as of September 18, 2024. Mason Mount's recovery from his thigh injury is ahead of schedule, and that's fantastic news for Manchester United fans. He resumed full training with the team on September 18, 2024, indicating he's nearing match readiness. Mount started the season brightly, featuring in United's opening games against Fulham and Brighton, but suffered a muscle injury shortly after the Brighton match. Initially, reports suggested he'd be out until early October, but it seems he's making a swift recovery. Although Erik ten Hag confirmed Mount wouldn't be fit for the Carabao Cup clash against Barnsley, he might be available for selection in the coming weeks, possibly for the midweek European fixture against FC 20. This is a significant boost for Manchester United, especially considering Mount's impact in the first 2 games, where United looked more compact in the middle. Victor Lindelof is out with an ankle and foot injury until September 25, 2024. Victor Lindelof's injury update is looking a bit more positive than initially thought. He's been out with a toe problem, but there's a chance he'll be back in the squad as early as September 21, when Manchester United faces Crystal Palace. That's ahead of the initially reported return date of September 25. It's worth noting that Lindelof hasn't featured at all this season due to the toe issue, but Erik ten Hag seems hopeful about his return. Luke Shaw has a calf/shin/heel injury and is expected back on September 25, 2024. Luke Shaw's injury update is a bit more complex than initially thought. He's been out since February, and although he recovered in time to play in the Euro 2024 finals, he picked up a calf injury during preseason training. Initially, it was reported that he'd be back after the September international break, possibly for the Southampton game on September 14. However, the latest updates suggest that his return might be delayed, with some sources indicating a potential return in early November. It's worth noting that Erik ten Hag has mentioned that Shaw is progressing well, but his return to the pitch depends on how his rehabilitation goes. With Tyrell Malacia still out with a long-term knee injury, United has been using Diogo Dalot as a makeshift left-back, but Shaw's return would be a significant boost to the team's defense. Rasmus Hojlund has a thigh injury, but he's also resumed training on September 18, 2024. Rasmus Hojlund's recovery from his thigh injury is right on track. He resumed training on September 18, 2024, which is fantastic news for Manchester United fans. After suffering a hamstring injury during a preseason friendly against Arsenal, Hojlund's been working hard to get back on the pitch. Although there's no official word on when he'll be match ready, his return to training suggests he's making great progress. Erik ten Hag will likely assess his fitness before deciding whether to include him in the squad for their upcoming Premier League match against Crystal Palace. It's worth noting that Hojlund's injury was initially expected to keep him out for 2 to 3 weeks, but it seems he's ahead of schedule. These injuries might impact Manchester United's upcoming games, but it's good to see Mount and Hojlund back in training. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates.